Welcome, everyone, to Austin by Starlight, Episode 11. Our lovely coterie in this anarch city has gathered once more on a new night. With the sort of tensions running high between Mr. Knight and Miss LaCroix, and the rest of the coterie getting caught in the middle, there's very much a sort of tension that is very palpable in the air. And so when the coterie comes together, the four of them out of the main part of the coterie have collected together while Gregor is doing some busy work for the coterie. Some busy work that entails clearing out some unusable tunnels and making sure that things are in a safe fashion when it comes to escape routes, as it were. Given that he knows a thing or two about that sort of thing. He's built a couple of tunnels in his day and would kindly let you all know that if there's anyone that you can trust with making sure that an escape route is secure, he would be the one to humbly volunteer. And thus, that frees up a bit of time for the rest of our coterie. Which means, what are these kindred going to be getting up to today? And even though she says that she'll be here for whoever needs some help, Pax does say that there are some things that she does need to attend to at some point in order to get some of this stuff off the ground. Particularly in the way of weapons, even though some have been purchased. Perhaps even refreshments might be on the menu. And she might be able to arrange something like that. But that being tended to, if and once everyone is kind of dispersed, the tension in the air kind of hovering like a cloud. She kind of watches everyone kind of letting you all discuss for a moment while she just kind of watches. Which brings us to our opening scene. The coterie house is looking better, but there are still some major issues that still need to be tended to at some point, such as the big broken window in Alistair's study, the finishing of some of the work underneath the house for its own basement needs. Most of that is complete, but there are some finishing touches that need done. And then, of course, updating everything to be a little bit more modern, as this house is a little old, a little creaky, and of course your poltergeist friend occasionally does find the strength to throw something onto the ground. Caged as it is.
And I believe that is Rouse checks.
Yes, rouse checks for the lot of you.
Très bien.
And I'll do a quick one for Pax. Let's see where she's at. Alright. And for Deja.
Success.
Success. Perfect. Mr. Knight, what is your hunger at right now?
Dos.
Dose. Manageable, but you could eat.
Yeah.
Same for the rest. Pax looks no worse for wear. Yvette, where's your hunger?
Uh. 1.
1. Alright, perfect. So, nobody's going to be flying off the handle for any kind of hunger-related reasons. At least you have the small victories. But that leaves you all to decide what it is that you are going to do.
Since we did a new night, does that mean I can do the start of session healing?
Yes.
Hooray. I has willpower back.
You have willpower back. If you would like to heal any superficial health damage, or do you not have any? I don't remember.
No, I do not have any health damage.
Good. Good. Hey. Cell's just...
It was all emotional damage.
all emotional jam. Emotional damage. Sorry.
Emotional damage.
I'm getting a little meme-worthy myself.
Yes.
My bad. But... there you are. There you have it. And Pax just looks between all of you and kind of just sits, kind of not really sits, but stands leaning up against the wall, kind of watching you all, listening and trying to gauge who's going to be flying off the handle next.
I am, at this exact moment, preparing my items for the journey ahead. I've put out some inquiries, and I'm going to be... I am currently, while loading up the gun case, listening to various voice messages that I would have missed throughout the day, trying to end up ascertaining some information about our guests arriving from San Antonio.
Make me a charisma and investigation plus contacts.
I will rouse the blood. Another hunger.
Already this morning is very taxing. This
It is
evening.
unfortunate month.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So you make some inquiries to some of the people that so your personal contractor, the person who more or less gives you the jobs in this high society kind of arrangement, is usually the person you contact because they're a bit of a gossip too. They pay well. They provide you with the contracts for the different people that you have serviced over the years. They have also provided you with a number of opportunistic rumors, such as when your celebrity friend fell from grace, you were one of the first to know because your contact let it slip. And thus you've been watching over her ever since. And, of course, is all abuzz with your senator friend and their sort of machinations when it comes to their desire to get into the Senate at the next midterm election. But when going about talking more high society rather than some of your friends, as it were, particularly about information about San Antonio, the celebrity life is rather mundane. You hear interesting rumors about basketball players from the Spurs. You hear maybe interesting, little things about the different business owners, such as the proprietor of the Toyota plant or other such nonsense, and a lot of it is very very uninteresting, as it doesn't really pertain to Austin all that much. But you do know that the governor of Texas will be traveling to San Antonio briefly and traveling back. And maybe that piques your interest. But a date hasn't really been set, and it's really just kind of rumor at the moment. You're not sure what he's going there for or why at the moment. And perhaps what you're initially looking into this for is maybe some kind of cover for which Lucio Della Rosa may be coming into the city. Seems like a big enough deal that maybe that masks anything going to and from.
That is the question. Though, of course, I end up playing it off as I am simply smiling at the thought of the opportunity to end up having the governor of Texas at my side for an evening. Reality is that it is De La Rosa that ends up having my attention. And so I'm going to end up playing up the role.
Of course.
But I keep an ear out in that regard. Going to be here looking into it continuously over the next while as I listen in on my phone, trying to get all the information I can.
You know that the campaign trail for the governor will be coming up pretty soon too. That perhaps there's a lot of that going on right now. Touring of the politicians, as it were.
Rarely, in my experience, does a politician actually tour for the masses. It is always something else. It's just convenient to end up doing two birds with one stone. Easier to cover flights. But American politics is so boring. I will end up making it a point to schedule a meeting later on the week to end up discussing the matter in detail should anything arise. I seat myself at the table.
Your contact will also tell you that any and all contracts for the governor are full.
Of course.
If you were looking for a job.
I text my disappointment, as I know I'll be busy anyway, but no, they don't need to know that.
Of course.
But at this exact moment, I am finishing up getting my affairs in order before I pull out a map of the city, and I'm going over it with felt marker, trying to figure out the boundaries of various domains, sightings of various kindred, trying to ascertain exactly what ends up observing as a threat, and what may have ended up transpiring near our own domain. or those that may be of interest to me personally. It's mostly mind exercise at this moment.
Hmm.
After all, the rest of it is walking, as they say, the beat.
Hmm. So, Deja, Alistair, what is it that you guys are doing?
When Deja gets to the Cuttery house, she's gonna look to see who else there.
The four of you, minus Gregor.
Yeah. She's gonna take a chair near Yvette and sit down. Look over at Pax. Well, with all the help y'all been giving me, I suppose the farm should become an asset for the coterie now.
That is unusually generous, Mademoiselle Deja.
Y'all been helping me in ways that I can't repay any other way. Now, should the need arise, it may get a bit uncomfortable, but there's room for everybody there.
I humbly accept your generosity and acknowledge the great strain it must place upon you to make such a decision. To
Yes,
allow us anywhere near your family home.
yeah, you sure about that? Pax pipes up.
If worse comes to worse, I know where the diesel and the matches are.
Figures.
I would forbid it. To lose such things is c'est incroyable.
Well, y'all should know there's wonderful little surprises spread around the farm as well. Um, I'll have to at some point show y'all. But yeah, don't just go wandering about without me, 'cause I got stuff set out there that will explode, and I wouldn't want y'all coming back missing arms or legs or nothing like that.
That's good to know.
Pax would be aware. Deja has told Pax and shown Pax where some of them are,
Mhm.
and gave her a map where everything is set. Yeah. Uh, again, uh, y'all don't want to go wandering around out there without me or Pax with y'all.
That is concerning. I
Thieves,
understand.
sorry, go ahead.
No.
Well, thieves are still a thing here in Texas. Generally tend more towards cattle than horses, but, well, pigs are big business here as well, and I can't have my herd just disappearing because somebody decides, oh, I want what you got. It looks good. I'm gonna go make some bacon.
It is understandable. Yvette looks legitimately confused when she ends up saying this, looking at Mademoiselle Deja, in the sort of way as though you just confessed you have a dead, you have no woman in the trunk, lady of the night who you spent the evening with, and are now discussing the removal of the body as one would discussing removing a bottle cap.
Um, By herd, I mean a group of livestock. I am a farmer and rancher. I do not mean what it means amongst our kind.
It's more the explosions that more concern me, Mademoiselle Deja.
Yes, sir.
I try to be understanding in some of the tastes of various kindred,
Well,
and
Some
it's a
things
bit
don't
of
learn.
an
Some things don't learn that lesson the first time. So
it's also a bit of an early warning system. Uh, Tells me the general area to start looking in for the body parts. However, it again, uh, Daddy was a bit obsessive with security, and not of anything that he actually had to purchase, but more in the
is
hey, there's a tripwire and a shotgun trap out here. You might want to be careful if you start walking out in the woods beyond the gate.
what,
One of them things.
Mademoiselle Deja, your father would not happen to be John. Yeah, am I speaking to Mademoiselle Rambo?
Ah, no, sir. My daddy's name was Elias. Rambo? I don't know. They may be of some distant relation, but no. Uh,
Frenchie
I,
made a
because
joke about a movie.
because of daddy's predilections and desires in life. Well, when I became part of the military, I was EOD. So building, making, and dismantling of bombs is well kind of second nature. So it just came natural. Did you
I,
know for my final exam, I had to blow up a hole 100 yards wide, 50 yards wide, 50 yards wide, 100 yards long, and 300 yards deep. That was fun.
That's a big old trench.
a useful skill, I have no doubt. And let us hope it never is required. Though
Yeah,
suppose eternity is a long time to hope.
Hmm.
very long. And at some point, it will come in handy. And just know that if you're anywhere around, it's gonna hurt.
I imagine so.
There's a very simple one, and for our kind, it is extremely useful. All you need is a bit of flour and something that ignites it, so that when they trip it off, it just goes poof and boom, and you basically just have one giant fireball.
Remind me never to piss you off.
Noted.
Yvette does not respond, or at least not in words. She's more in contemplation. Takes her a moment to kind of settle into the discussion Mademoiselle Deja has just plopped upon her lap. So, Mademoiselle Deja, what would I be able to end up assisting with in this if your security is so formidable?
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know that it is. Mr. Douglas has called it all into question at this point. Well, I ain't so sure.
Monsieur Douglas is a individual whose entire existence has been going around security. It is a nature of the Nosferatu to end up finding themselves in places where they are often not welcome, and to find out things that are oftentimes overlooked, shall we say. And because of this, I have no doubt that his eye for such things would be beyond question.
He don't know anything about the little surprises spread around my farm.
Then perhaps when you have the opportunity, you should end up doing so. Allowing him to know where it is safe to step.
I've shown him where he can step for now, and beyond that, I don't want him knowing anything else than what he absolutely needs to. I don't trust him. I don't trust the information that's coming from him or through him. That
Pourquoi?
first evening, that first evening with Noel has brought a lot of doubts to my mind, and none of that has been alleviated as yet. I'm letting y'all know because this is a resource for everybody here. And I'd rather not see y'all blown to bits.
I understand your position and will try to respect it accordingly.
After saying that, Deja looks directly at Alistair. Is that clear? I do not want Mr. Douglas knowing anything about this.
Yes, this is clear.
I am sure Monsieur Knight is capable and has his mind elsewhere, more concerned about recent matters than that of Gregor. In which case, we have a opportunity to focus on what is important. This meeting that Mademoiselle Pax and Mademoiselle Deja wish to end up concluding, I have no doubt, as soon as possible.
Sooner
If
the
they
better.
It's not on my timetable. I'm just trying to make sure I can get what I can done.
No, it's
before
more
any of
on
this-
Gregor's timetable.
Well, I believe it is. I am unsure. It is a hunch at best. But I think you can have some sort of warning if you pay attention to the right circles.
And I'm guessing you know them right circles.
It is speculation at best. But I know that someone very important in Texas is coming by soon. After all, everybody wants to do well in the polls. About the time of his arrival, perhaps the evening before. I have no doubt that your guest will have arrived in the city. That is your timing.
Huh. Well, I ain't one to be socializing with politicians.
It is simply fair warning.
Stealing babies and kissing hands.
At this exact moment, I am simply end up relaying nothing more than a feeling. But I would believe between yourself, Mademoiselle Pax, and Mademoiselle Deja, you would understand that particular.
Hunches have meaning sometimes.
Oh, yes.
I unsure, but I think this is something that you would like to at least consider.
Always consider all your options and
Keep
trust
your
your
ear to the
instincts.
ground. Yeah.
I try to end up keeping myself connected to what is needed. If there is anything else I can end up doing to assist any of you, please speak freely and speak now. Lest I be swept away and placed into other meetings that are less pleasant.
No, yeah, definitely keep your ear to that little rumor, friendship, because that might come in handy. And as soon as we know they moving, we know our man's moving. I like the way you think. But I got shit I gotta do. I got some personal matters to take care of.
Give our best to Boss Hernandez.
Always do. You guys gonna play nice?
I have no idea on what it is you are referring to.
Good. Keep it that way. Y'all have a good night. And she's gonna leave out of the coterie house.
Au revoir. Bonsoir.
Au
Also, just give a
revoir.
little wave.
She tries to imitate French, but doesn't
Arriva Birchie.
do it. She does not do a very good job of it. Leaving the three of you together.
What do y'all have planned this evening?
I am more concerned about Mademoiselle Pax.
There's no telling what she's up to this evening if Don Hernandez is involved.
She was having a struggle. Perhaps the stress of the event is starting to crack the mirror further. My concerns and condolences. But I suppose you are the only one who understands that fully, Mademoiselle Deja.
Fully understand, I don't know. Have some understanding, yes. Nobody can fully understand what everybody else is going through unless you are them. And while it may be similar to something you've gone through, it's never exactly the same.
Yet, Monsieur Knight has been awfully silent this evening. Perhaps he's got a hot date this evening.
Well, that is tempting. I do have a few personal errands to run, but if you all have any need of me, I can make the time.
What need of you? Oh, have you ordered that window for your study yet?
Yes,
Alright.
it should be arriving within a few days.
Let me know
Few
so I can.
days. Where did you order it from?
Home Depot.
Très bleu. Un moment. She gets up and starts walking out the side of the room out of earshot. It's very clear she's about to make a call.
Which, of course, leaves Alistair and Deja in the same room.
Yes, I have a few things I need to take care of. Perhaps grab a bite to eat, but is there anything you need help with tonight?
No. I was checking on y'all, see if y'all need any help. Greg is doing the heavy lifting of what I had planned for this evening, and my understanding is he's kind of well equipped for that, well known for their abilities with such things.
Well, that's good to know.
And once he's done, there will be some new things about the farm to include y'all in. But until such a time as it becomes pertinent, there's no need.
Good to keep things close to the chest.
Well, if it don't work out right, there's just gonna be a Nosferatu buried under my house.
Hmm.
Somewhere on the property, anyways.
Well, one can only hope with things working out.
I hope the rumors about his clan are true. I'd rather not have to go dig him out. But
Yes, that
no,
would be unfortunate.
I have no need of any assistance from you this evening. I do
Hmm.
appreciate the offer. Everything I need to do is here at this house or out there on the farm. So,
Yes, is there anything that you need from supply-wise that I could procure?
she
I
thinks
tried
about
to
it.
furnish the house as best I could on the short budget that I do have, but I don't know. I am not mechanically inclined, so I do not know
You,
what it needs for the repairs and
well,
updates.
Daddy Warbucks, beyond helping get the supplies, there ain't much you can do. Now, as far as the farm, the lending of a few resources might help establish that herd and make it look like at least a working farm again that much quicker.
Hmm.
Beyond that, I don't really have much need of anything. Uh,
Well, what I have planned for the future this month, money will be tight. But
it's
next
tight
month I can, yes, next month I might be able to help out, replenish your herd, get
that
you.
should be taken care of in
I
the
think it's
next week.
about that time you'll end up hearing Yvette's voice raised from the next room. Non, ce sera fait ce soir. Oui. Très bien. When was that? Ah, merci. And the phone hangs up as she walks in. I will end up waiting here for the next hour for it to be delivered. Required somebody to get out of bed, get some keys, but well, security is foremost.
Okay. Well,
It helps when you emphasize yourself as a manager of security, and such things must be done on short notice. Also helps when people owe you favors.
remind me never to get into your debt, Miss Yvette.
Oh, this is a simple thing. Somebody will be paid over time and probably end up getting an extended weekend over it for little more than an inconvenience of going back to work, picking up, driving a truck out, and dropping it off this night.
I will make sure I'm here so that we can get that in place.
After, so have you two decided on what you will be doing this evening?
Mr. Knight says he has some personal matters to attend to, and I need to talk to Madame Alexandra. Beyond that, I don't have any plans for this evening.
Pourquoi?
Pardon?
Mademoiselle Alexandre, why is it that you have to seek her out again?
She has knowledge of things about our clan that I do not. And as
Mm,
Pax is otherwise engaged this evening, I can't do what I was planning to with her. And the only other person I know that might have any information about it is my sire.
pardon, I was unaware it was a personal matter. Given the frantic nature of the recent events, I presumed it had something to do with the security of this meeting.
There's nothing Miss Alexandrov can tell me about security that I don't already know. And I know that you already, I know that that is what you do in your personal life as basically a personal bodyguard for people. So you may have a bit more insight into this than Madame Alexandrov does.
I appreciate your vote of confidence. However, Mademoiselle Deja, I would stress that what I end up doing to preserve my own masquerade is a open secret in this coterie. I would prefer it to stay that way. Those who need know, know. Those who don't know, do not run in the circles that I do. In which case, that offers me a small amount of security as well.
As I said, you would know more about security issues than Madame Alexandrov. She knows what she needs to for herself, but she doesn't tend to go too far beyond taking care of herself and the things that, well, possibly me, that are of importance to her. So,
So, if that is the case, it seems that it is everyone for themselves this evening. That is the expression, we.
yes.
Très bien.
The only thing I can think of is if any of us want to do more legwork on Pax's idea of a way to secure his finances, of opening a bar or club, but I don't know where that was left at.
Mademoiselle Pax is dependent on this dealing going well.
Uh,
The majority of bars in this city are all along the main drag, and it's rare that you'll find one not there. And if it's not on the main drag, it's not a tourist trap. It's typically locals only. And they tend to be squirreled away and not very well advertised for that reason.
hmm.
Anyone who's anyone knows all about 6th Street.
Deadliest road in Texas.
It is also a point of trying to end up getting any degree of further finance requires the legwork in places that I do not believe you frequent, monsieur. And for you to end up doing so, well, I think I would prefer not to guess. Nevertheless, if Mademoiselle Pax wishes to end up going through, then I will make the arrangements appropriate.
Yeah. I know she was talking about a bar. but my mind goes to a late night diner or something along those lines. You can still run the kind of things she was wanting to out of the diner as well as you can out of a bar.
He kind of ends up looking at the two coterie mates. And after a long stare, she just simply nods. Very well then. I will await to be sure that the window has been delivered properly. And afterwards, if my presence is no longer required, I will end up squirreling my attention away elsewhere. Call back to hearing Deja use that term.
Deja's gonna make a call to Madame Alexandrov.
And she said that she'll meet you wherever you would like to meet, so.
Our previous meeting house will suffice for this evening.
Then I shall see you there shortly, she says.
All right. And I will let her know that I am awaiting for a window to be delivered so that I can get it replaced.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Alistair, what kind of personal errands do you wish to run today?
So, I need to contact a private investigator to do some digging for myself.
Okay. Do you have a contact in private investigation?
No, I would just be, like, looking through...
Kind of scouring the papers and other such things for someone who's a private investigator?
Looking up reviews, cross-referencing.
Let's see how well you can do that. Roll me, because this might take some time to do. Roll me a resolve investigation. Because this is you trying to establish a contact, so we'll see how well that goes. You're kind of scouring a little bit of the internet, kind of scouring a little bit of the papers. You're not really finding anything as far as any public advertisements to such a thing. A lot of I personally don't know how well a lot of that is advertised, because that's not something that I go looking for on a day-to-day basis. But you're finding it, like, what contacts do you have?
I have... Let me look. I have a contact for estate sales.
Yeah, if that's the kind of person that you're going through, it's not really going to lead you very far. So, scouring the bits of things that you find on the internet, you find when someone says that they're a private investigator online, you get the sense that it's a lot more shady than you're probably really wanting. Some weird vibes about the posts that you see. As far as the papers, well, nobody really advertises that they're a private investigator in the papers anymore. And going through your estate sales contacts, they don't really know anybody who does that on a regular basis. So it's a little tough, and you figure that sort of thing is more likely. More than likely shady to begin with, and for two, that probably is more along the lines of Pax's sort of people.
Yes, I was about to say, would it be possible to call Pax?
She would say that she is busy tonight. She can't really make meetings with anybody that she knows at the moment.
Okay, it's just I wanted to put it in her ear so that it could eventually go through.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind for Mox for in character, but as of right
Yeah,
now, Pax is indisposed.
okay. Oh, I know. Could I contact Mr. Ball?
Mr. Ball, sure, you can call it Mr. Ball.
Okay.
You know the you know the little bit of ways of snaking through his sort of chain of people that transferred you here, transfer you there, kind of has a long chain of these sort of things trying to, with the intent of, if somebody who's not patient is trying to reach them, yeah, they're probably not going to. But you wait the appropriate amount of time, you make the appropriate amount of transfers and everything like that, and eventually he does come on the line. You know, still in this very masquerade maintaining sort of way that he does, and and is very friendly when he hears your voice. Hi, yes. How are you this evening?
I am well. Forgive me for bothering you. I was wondering if I could meet with you tonight to discuss a personal matter.
Aha. Well, I make myself freely available to all who need me out of your little group. So, of course, when?
Uh, I am on your timetable, sir. When would you like to meet?
Give me about an hour.
As you wish, I will see you then.
Fantastic. All right. I shall see you then. And he hangs up the phone.
Alright. I'm going to, how long would it take to get to there?
It's probably a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive.
Okay. I'm going to get on my computer and I'm going to go through a travel agency and I'm going to be booking a cruise
Hmm.
for my parents.
Aha. Now, let me actually take a look at your sheet, sir. There might be something that comes up that might be... Okay. Well, there's not really anything that would trigger any alarms for any such nefarious people. But actually, what is your resources? Because we had already discussed that that a lot of what your money would be tied up, right? Because we've had a couple of things tie up your money a little bit.
We haven't really said that we're going to be spending any of the dots yet. It's more of my personal spending money that I've kind of
Right.
spent up.
Okay.
But I'm figuring that the PI and the cruise are going to tie up my dots for the rest of the month.
Okay. The cruise, maybe not so much because that's, well, a cruise for 3 people can get kind of expensive, but and since you're more or less a sort of middle class in the way of the way that your resources go, it might sting, but it's probably not going to hurt you terribly.
Okay.
Now, you have to find a PI first in order to retain a PI. So,
Yes.
so we will we will do that and talk to Mr. Ball here shortly. And Yvette, what were you getting up to? You're going to check in on the family and make sure that they're all in good order.
Absolument.
All right.
Chris may be in bed. Dale, it's still early evening. It's when we usually meet is first thing in the morning, first thing in the evening. An advantage to this particular living.
All right. Well, the first person to arrive would be Madame Alexandrov, and Yvette, you're still waiting for the delivery truck for the window to arrive so that you can help Deja to get that installed. Alistair's busy toiling away on his computer for probably about an hour or so in total. And so Deja, the Madame Alexandrov, kind of greets you in her normal way and is smiling at you. Very seems to be very happy to see you. How are you, my darling? You're muted.
Thank you. I'm here. I'm a bit concerned. Coffee, where in the Coterie house would be a private place for Deja and Madame Alexandrov to have this conversation?
Any one of the bedrooms. So this is like a 3-bedroom house, with an office, and so there's the office and then there's the sort of library that's kind of conjoined with the living room, and then you have the bedrooms which are upstairs, and so any of the 3 bedrooms would work.
Deja will take her upstairs because she wants this to be a private conversation.
Okay. And she follows you.
And grab a chair along the way because she doesn't know what the bedrooms look like.
They're standard fare. Yeah.
She doesn't know what furniture is available and what is not. So
yeah.
Alistair Alistair made it. It's Spartan, but it's livable.
Yeah, it's Spartan, but it's livable. So there's the typical fare, like a bed and a dresser in each of the rooms. But as far as any kind of personal decoration, really the coterie hasn't done a whole lot of time of personalizing the spaces. And so...
Well, she figures the bed could be used as a seating place, but she's also bringing a chair, because, again...
Might as well. You sounded sort of concerned over the phone.
I'm very concerned.
You normally don't have that sort of concerned tone, so that's why I came over right away.
Oh. You've told me a lot about our gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And, none of them included seeing dead people or being able to actually touch them.
Seeing makes sense. Touching...
You told me we could see the dead. You never told me we could physically interact with them.
Aha. So you've actually been touched by an apparition? That's unusual. And you know that it was not real?
Oh, it was real. And he's very dead.
Aha. Oh, I get your meaning now.
It was indeed very real, and the encounter was with someone I know for a fact is dead.
Aha. Okay. Well, that's certainly interesting. I can't say that I have physically touched someone who. And I am rather confused.
As am I.
So just to get some clarity for myself, you're certain this person is dead, and their body was up and walking around?
The body doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
And I am
Oh, that sort of thing.
absolutely certain they are dead. Have been for 5 years now.
I see.
A
So a
person
body
had,
who doesn't exist, a body that doesn't exist for a person who doesn't live anymore.
and as real as you are, you and I are right now, reached out and touched me, held me, hugged me, uh, had a heartbeat as clear as if, he were still a breathing soul, and then poof.
Poof.
I don't know if I made him mad or he just disappeared.
Such things are rare. I haven't personally dealt with something like this before, but often in those kinds of cases, it's the manifestation has gathered enough power to, or energy, or whatever it is you want to call it, to become real again. Whatever real is. But that's unusual. That's not something that goes on often around in these parts. I'm... No, the ley lines are wrong.
It was not here. It was, out at the farm.
The farm.
M
Your
Miss
farm.
Cas- yes, yes, ma'am. Miss Cassetta was interested in, finding out where this took place and having me show her. Things have come up and she is otherwise engaged. I'm sure we will be taking care of that when she has an available moment, but,
Uh-huh. The ley lines. We're close enough, I suppose, that something like that might happen. She seems to get lost in thought for a moment. Yeah. Yes. Yes, okay. Yeah, we're close enough. Are you... I imagine that Mr. Knight isn't that forthcoming about the sort of occult nature of the sort of central Texas region?
I have not discussed any of this with Mr. Knight, and no, he is not very forthcoming about that, the occult nature of this area.
Well, as you are fully aware, a lot of different sorts of traumatic events have happened over the course of this land's history, one of which being the Alamo.
Yeah, I'm very well aware of it.
lots of people understand. Lots of children of Texas are brought up, hearing the hero stories and all of the sort of
Days of glory.
all of the sort of glory that may have been achieved, but in reality, a lot of people died. And as a result, what strings that attach and kind of weave through the world, those become amplified when enough spiritual energy sort of pools in certain places. San Antonio is one of these places. We're close enough that we might get the crumbs of such a thing. And you said it's been 5 years.
Yes.
Perhaps
It took that long for him to gather enough of this.
5
Make
years
this
isn't long
recommendation?
enough.
Isn't long enough. How long does it take?
Decades, centuries, millennia. It's hard to know. Definitely not less than that. I worry, my darling, that something sinister may have been planning it. And has been sort of brewing, and maybe found the image of your father to be the most convenient.
He says he's there every evening.
Which
Doing
probably
what he
isn't
was-
untrue.
Doing what he was doing in life. He refused to accept that he's dead. Or that I'm the one that killed him and fed him to the hogs. And after I repeated this more than once, he disappeared.
There's a lot of mystery that revolves around the dearly departed. Not the least of which are the kindred of this city, or the state, or this country, or the world. But one thing I do know is that this little area in Texas, well, let's just say that it's sometimes a spirit's playground.
Would I be concerned that the spirit wiped the tear from my eyes and may have some access to my blood now?
It's hard to know. I will do more research, though, and I will make sure that nothing bad happens to you, my dear. But just beware that what you see may not be necessarily true.
I am aware.
Trust your
But,
feelings.
It was Daddy. I don't think it was anything else. The sound, the feel. It was him. I didn't get the sense of anybody else or anything else controlling or directing what he was doing. I thought the dead were aware of their circumstances for the most part.
Not always.
He doesn't seem to be.
And that could be the most tragic of it all.
As I said, he refused to accept that I was the reason he's not here anymore. Either couldn't or wouldn't answer the question of how he came back.
He might not know. The image that you spoke to might not know. Because sometimes these things can be both true and untrue at the same time.
And she lays a hand on you and tells you he was as real as my hand on yours. He hugged me and held me as I cried in his arms. I didn't know we were capable of such things.
Just be cautious. If you see this image of your father again, be cautious. But don't pass up the opportunity to maybe reconcile some things, if necessary. It might help him move on.
I tried. That's when he got quiet and disappeared.
You might not be willing to hear it just yet. It's the tricky thing.
Unknowing of his circumstances and unwilling to hear. Make a great combination.
And that's part of the reason why they get stuck in the first place. And then occasionally they are stuck for so long that they fester.
The one in this house.
Like the one in this house. Been here a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, she has. It has. I don't.
She.
Rightly. I know it was a she, but I don't rightly know what it is anymore.
Very different.
Besides angry.
Very different.
Well, I will endeavor to get Mr. Knight's assistance in seeing if I can find any more information about these things. And when I have any further news, I will be in touch.
I pride myself in being more of a wail and woe sort of person. I have instincts about what might come. My instincts in regards to the departed, however, are a little lackluster. Besides contacting them for the obvious reasons.
I share at least part of what you consider your gifts.
Yes.
But I'm more interested to find out about this other, if that is part of my gifts as well, or if this is just a anomaly.
Explore it. But just be cautious. That's all I can say. But hate for something to happen to you, my dear.
I would too. I would too. And be mindful if you're coming out to my farm anytime in the near future.
You have a lot of things going on there, don't you?
My new guest is going to be having a meeting with Don Hernandez and his side. And I'm not sure what security measures they're planning, but if you show up while they're there, I'd hate to hazard a guess at what might happen.
But I will give your farm a wide berth for the time being.
Thank you.
Unless, of course, you need my assistance.
If I do, I will call you. And anybody else there will be made well aware of your visiting.
Well,
So,
was there anything else you wanted?
that's the bulk of the situation for me right now.
Don't be afraid to explore your gifts. They might just come in handy when dealing with this vision of your father.
The first part's the only reason I'm still here. The only reason I made it back from Iraq.
You've always had a bit of the gift.
Some gift. She says it in a way that Madame Alexandrov would know that she does consider it a gift, but at this point she's considering at least part of this a curse.
The drawbacks sometimes outweigh them, don't they? But you're strong. And I trust that you'll find your place in them.
No, that's what Daddy said too before he disappeared.
I suppose
Okay.
great minds think alike.
But I thank you. And she'll stand up and she'll give Anastasia a big hug.
She'll return it. She'll
Thank you.
kind of pet your curly hair and kind of give you a reassuring sort of hug.
I'll be in touch. I just,
Keep me updated.
I will. Promise. I've never heard of this before, and I didn't know if you had or
As I
knew
said,
any information. So
it's a
we
rare
both
occurrence and
got
usually happens around the strongest points of the ley lines, as they're called.
subtle energies. I get it.
Kind of binds us all together.
Alright. I got some research to do, and
As do I, apparently.
she'll escort her back. Thank you so much for coming.
Of course. Anytime, my darling. This definitely piques my interest. So, do keep me apprised.
Absolutely.
And you have a wonderful rest of your night.
You too. Be safe. There's a lot of crazies out there.
Not the least of which is me. She just kind of grins and exits the house as Alistair is finishing up his little bit of research and is likely going to be leaving the house himself in a moment. But we will take.
Sorry.
But we will take a quick break because I must use the facilities. So we'll be back, everyone. So don't go anywhere, and we'll have more of this venture forth from our coterie in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to episode 11 of not San Antonio, Austin by Starlight. Confusing my own games. Where we left off, Deja had just finished up a conversation with her sire to kind of get an idea of what this very real feeling, vision, or apparition, or whatever it was of her father, get an idea of what that was. Only to find out that it's perhaps some kind of rare occurrence, or it might not have even been her father at all. But she'll have to explore that at some point, of course, as she walks her sire out of the house, and Yvette is walking back into the house now with the installers of the window, with them in tow, going towards the office. And Alistair looks like he was giving up on looking through the internet for whatever it is he was looking for, and is looking to get up and leave. And that is the scene we are in currently.
As Alistair would grab his jacket and be looking around.
Mr. Knight, do you have a moment before you leave?
Yes, not very long, but I can spare a few moments. What can I do for you?
Do you happen to have any books on information about ghosts and apparitions that I might borrow, or know someone who does?
I can check through my libraries. I'm sure I have some. Though it can be hit or miss, the information that you get out of them. I've been trying to compile what is actually useful.
I am aware of such things. I just, I need more information than what I have.
Well, is this an urgent matter? Can it wait for after I have a meeting to go to? I can come back and pull all the necessary books and organize them for you.
It is not of any extreme urgency. I was just asking.
Sure,
Do you
I can
mind
help
if
with
I
this. No,
peruse?
please, by all means, just leave me a note of if you take any books with you. If
Indeed.
And I'll point to the section where I mostly have it or categorized. You should probably start there.
And she'll make note of where Alistair is gesturing to.
And it's not only
Indeed.
really a couple of shelves that he has, but he's got them so meticulously organized that it's basically as if the shelf is chock full in every nook and cranny. So every little space has something in it.
And she'll go start looking through the library to see if she can find anything.
Now, Alistair, your library is predominantly about magic, isn't it?
Yes, with I'd say probably minor in ghosts and stuff because of the house, but mostly that's where the focus of it would be magic.
Okay. So, I would say, with that being the primary focus of it, that of course she's not going to get the advantage for looking through those books, because that's obviously not the focus of it. But the just give me, Deja, a quick wits and investigation. Let's see if something stands out to you.
Oh boy, straight wits. That's 2 successes.
Okay. Nothing's really jumping out at you at the moment. You're going to have to peruse a little bit more. But nothing immediately jumps out to you as that one. No hunches or anything. But this does mean that, Mr. Knight, you are now free to go about your meeting, and Yvette is instructing the installer about where this window should be placed, and getting most everything kind of organized in that regard. He's frustrated, to say the least, because he's doing some extra hours, but when the urgency calls for it, Yvette must have friends in Home Depot. But we will follow Mr. Knight for the moment, as he has set up a meeting with the coteries sort of backing for this little adventure that they're on. Mr. Ball, the somewhat short, but very somewhat short in stature, but very big in presence. And so when you go to his office, Alistair, he greets you at the office door and kind of ushers you in as a gentleman should, and closes the door behind him and goes back to sitting at the desk that his late night office is sitting amongst. You notice that the office building is fairly sparse, not a whole lot of people present tonight, and perhaps that's the best way to keep it, as Mr. Ball gets to keep his masquerade, and none of the employees are any wiser, because nobody's ever here.
Mm-hmm.
And so he kind of leans back in his chair just a little bit, kind of crossing a leg over the other, kind of gives you a gesture. So, what brings you here, Mr. Knight?
Yes, forgive the intrusion on such short notice.
Not at all.
I find myself in need of a private investigator, and I thought you might know of one.
Private investigator? Oh, that's an unusual request.
Yes, I find myself needing a little bit of information to do something, and this is the best way that I can think of to get it.
Aha. Are we talking about kindred matters?
Not really. It's
When you say not really, that usually means yes.
there is what I'm looking for is information on humans that are connected to a kindred.
Okay. Still a very unusual request.
Yes.
This is where it gets a little tricky, Mr. Knight, because absolutely I would love to help you. However, I personally would need to know more about the situation, because what you do reflects upon me, and vice versa. And so far I have been very accommodating, and
As you have.
and very, how shall I say it? I've been putting in a good word for you and your coterie, and I really don't want that to go to waste.
Yes, I understand, and I know that nothing is free. If there's anything I can do to help to repay you,
I'm not talking about a boon.
oh no, I am just saying you've done a lot for us, and I wish to repay you in some way if I can.
You already
But
do, so that's not what concerns me, Mr. Knight. If you would allow me.
please,
My concern is, how does this affect me? Because it affects you somehow. So it only stands to reason that I'll be affected as well.
there is an intercoterie conflict that I wish to right and make
Ha.
things run smoother. In order
Okay.
to do that, I need information to try to make amends for, well, I have a habit of putting my foot in my own mouth, as you, I'm sure as you've seen. I'm trying to work
Indeed.
on that.
And you are looking to get this information surreptitiously.
Out of character, what does surreptitiously mean?
Covertly,
Yes,
with malicious intent.
no malicious intent, just covertly, so I can
Hmm.
surprise someone.
Aha. Right. See, I am not necessarily all that familiar with your sire. I have met him briefly in several occasions, but I don't know him particularly well. And what you just said, Mr. Knight, to me reads as, I would like to bury a rival.
I could see how you could come to that conclusion, but
Wouldn't that
what
be the natural conclusion?
I am not looking to escalate something. I'm looking to de-escalate it and
Then
have things turn to the status quo.
I would suggest against secrecy in that case. Be open, be forthcoming, be accommodating.
Well,
Don't be secretive, because if it's a situation that needs de-escalating, Mr. Knight, that's not how to do it.
the it's a twofold thing. I also wish to have this information to protect myself in case the
Aha.
other party is not of the same mindset.
So it is to bury a rival.
Self-interest protecting, I would say. I'm not looking to, like I said, I'm not looking to bury anyone.
But you are.
I just want to cover my bases.
This is. It is wise to be looking out for oneself. But if you're looking to both make amends and de escalate, and you're looking for this as cannon fodder for your own personal desires, you can't have both. That's not how this city works. That's not how kindred society works. You're young, and I understand that there's a lot for you to learn, and apparently your sire is very inept in the way that he's taught you, and I do pity you in that regard. I don't want to be involved in your personal matters when it comes to you and your rivals. Am I clear?
Understood.
So,
It was a thought.
so, unfortunately, Mr. Knight, that means I can't help you in that regard. But I hope that you will heed the brief lessons that I have given you tonight and try not to escalate things.
Yes.
Because when you and your coterie escalate, then the Baron gets involved. And no one wants the Baron involved.
That is understood. Thank you for your time. I'm sorry to have troubled you with this. I will have to think on this as more.
Well, it's no trouble at all, but that's it.
That is the only thing I had on the docket for tonight.
You're not going to try and convince me otherwise?
I would not wish to push my luck and sully a reputation, or your reputation, if you do not wish it. The only thing I could do is offer my services in exchange for something, for the information that I seek, but even that is not much. I do not wish to push a hand that I do not really want to bet everything on.
Alistair. You really are a pitiable man. I am so sorry that your sire is your sire, and that you have not been thoroughly informed.
He has been good in teaching some things, but as I am finding out, lacks in teaching others.
Well,
He has his own priorities.
I suppose that's what I'm here for. Teach all of the practical lessons rather than the theoretical. Well, that's what I'm good at anyway. That's always been... Well, what else do you not know? How empty is that head of yours?
I'm learning the value of secrets. I'm learning to not put my foot in my own mouth.
Social graces are absolutely key.
It is a difficult thing for me. I am used to being a professor with free flow of ideas and information. It is a different life.
But even amongst your students, you do have to drip feed information, as it were. You can't just unload the entire textbook onto a student and expect them to memorize it in a day.
True.
So if you're a teacher, then it should be a second nature for you to occasionally and from time to time withhold information as per necessary. Because if you overload the mind with information, then nothing gets heard. Nothing gets learned. Nothing gets absorbed. Nothing changes. So, tell me, what is it that you're trying to teach in this situation? Because, obviously, you're looking to teach a rival a lesson by having information that would otherwise be private information. Have a one-up, a point of leverage against your fellow man.
I wish to simply say that I can reach things that you care about just like you can reach mine, and if things happen, they would be consequences. But that's not the main focus. I really want to provide a gift from the
Double-edged sword.
yes, it could be seen as such, but I am not a Machiavellian schemer.
Clearly. And no one needs to be. It's not a requirement for being kindred. It's helpful, but not required. No, you just need to understand the motives of your rival, what it is that they want, what it is they care about, and of course, if you know that information, sometimes that alone is enough. But I don't suppose I understand the need to both be altruistic in your findings and because we all know that the beast would rather
Yes.
take that information and use it for your own gain.
I wish the reason I want to do the way that I am is I wish to de escalate things without bending the knee or rolling over. So,
What's wrong with bending the knee?
well, to someone who deserves it.
Your rival doesn't deserve it?
I consider them more of an equal than a superior.
Well,
They are better at me at some things, but I'm better at others.
so in some senses you are the superior, and in some senses you are the inferior.
Yes.
Why can't it not be that?
Hmm.
Why does it have to be 100% equal terms? Because nothing is ever 100% equal, Mr. Knight.
This is true.
Even you and I, technically, by all standards, in this city are indeed peers. But you came to me for advice. Clearly, I know something more than you do.
Yes. And
And
in a
you
lot of ways,
acknowledge.
you are very much more skilled than I am.
And you acknowledge this about me. So
Yes.
why not acknowledge it about them? It's not bending the knee, for all intents and purposes. It's not. It's not claiming fealty to a crown, is it? Have they declared praxis on their domain?
No.
Then they are no prince.
It's more personal pride, I suppose. It is a
Personal
weakness of
pride.
mine.
Personal pride is another one of those double-edged swords.
Yes, it will get me killed one day, I'm sure.
If you swing it wrong, yes. But knowing how to, knowing where the boundary is, and acquiescing where you are clearly the inferior in knowledge, and taking your rightful place when you are the superior in that, and knowing the balance that you must have is that sort of tightrope that every kindred has to walk. Does that make sense?
Yes. I,
So are you still looking to better your foe? Or are you really out for altruistic reasons? And if you tell me both, then you are not an altruist. Of course, no kindred can be, can they?
No, I suppose I'm not truly altruistic.
So,
There is who I want to help out. It's a personal reason, but it is also to snap back at someone else, I suppose, thinking about it more deeply.
oh, someone different than your rival.
No, same person.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something with someone else.
No, someone close to my rival I wish to help because, well, mostly because of my principles and what I hold dear. And this could be seen as an apology, but also the power play of I can reach inside of your circle just like you can reach inside of mine. So
And that is supposed to let them let their guard down. How?
I'm not trying to let them guard down. I'm more looking for, at this moment, I prefer a bit of the Cold War action of just a standoff that we can't do anything so that we can figure out and de escalate as the time comes. Because
You know what?
nerves are still raw at the moment.
Of course. But do you know what happens at the end of Cold Wars? People are dead, and countries are no longer the same.
Yes.
Nothing's ever the same. So if you're trying to de-escalate and you want to work with this person, you don't have to like them. That's never a guarantee, nor is it ever required. But to work with someone is to put aside your differences.
Yes. Even now, with the raw intentions, I would still help just because of we are members of the same coterie, and I still hold true to the fact that I want to see our coterie survive and thrive. I would not trust myself to be in the same room with them alone, but I would not be petty enough that I would refuse help just to.
Well, if this rival of yours is a member of your own coterie, then I doubly don't want to escalate things, because I need you all to function as you do. So I'm instructing you, Mr. Knight, find a different route. Because this, what you're suggesting, will only end in bloodshed. Knowing what I know about your coterie mates,
I think I have a. I think I have a way that I can do this. It'll be more direct and no secrets. I will talk to them directly.
be the bigger man.
There is another secret that I wish to discuss tonight, though I wish it to stay between us.
Certainly. How much do you... How much... What are you wanting in return for me to keep everything on the down low, as the kids say?
This is something that could involve you. It could blow back upon you, so I think that it would be smart to try to utilize your knowledge to circumvent?
I'm listening.
Someone has started a rumor that I am at the center of making a chantry and a play for power with the Tremere.
The Tremere are always playing at something.
Yes.
This does not surprise me. Nor would I be surprised if I heard such a rumor.
I'm forgetting the exact wording of what was said. I basically want to tell everything that I know without naming names of what the rumors that were put out about me.
So how you say that and what you say is important because that's how it's going to be framed. So
Yes.
you're going to have to recall what you recall.
The only thing that I know is it was fed to the Nosferatu so that it would probably disseminate, and I do not know the ends and the means of why this is done, but
Is it not true? Are the Tremere not always looking for the next book, the next artifact, the next...
we
Who
aren't
knows
making
even
a
what?
power play to take over them.
That's what was implied?
Yes.
Huh. Certainly something to keep an interesting eye on. And I appreciate you bringing that to my attention.
Yes, I've known for spilling a secret without meaning to, but this is something that's more important. And as you said, you have a vested interest in our coterie, and I would not want this to blindside you.
You would inform me if the reverse was true, correct?
That we were trying to take over?
Well, that you were playing at any kind of power.
If it would blow back upon you, probably. I don't know. That is harder to say.
Yeah.
That would call into varying levels of loyalty to different things. It would be a case by case basis, I would assume. All cards on the table. I do not wish to lie. There are some things that I can't say just because they are not my secrets to tell.
Interesting. And yet you would bring it up to pique my curiosity because you think that I might go digging for deeper for these things.
No, at the moment.
No, you would. You would. You're easy to read. It's clear what your intentions are. Most of the time.
Well,
You're
right
out.
now
You're out for numero uno, aren't you?
Everybody wants to make sure that they survive and thrive.
Of course, but you can't do that by yourself at all times.
No.
Clearly, you stick your foot in your mouth often enough that somebody is going to snap your head off at the wrong comment.
Yes, very much. That's something I'm trying to work on.
Good. Well, perhaps you would benefit from some one-on-one social graces training at some point. Because, let's face it, I don't want you sticking your foot in your mouth. Because that just looks bad on me.
Yes. You'll find that I love to absorb information, no matter the source, and I love to learn skills and things that I did not know previously, so any kind of instruction that you would give, you will find me a voracious student.
Well, what are you taking away from this conversation so far, Mr. Knight?
That you're going to be watching out for what's going to happen. I need to not escalate things and cause more problems for you or get the Baron involved, because nobody wants that.
Primarily for you, though. Otherwise, your rival will eat you alive.
Yes.
And you're a smart kid.
In some ways.
Well, intelligent. I would
Yes, I
say
do
that
have
you
that.
need a little bit of a little smoothing around the edges, but a diamond in the rough, possibly.
Let's hope I'm not cloudy when I'm polished.
Even the cloudy ones have some use. No one's perfect.
Yes.
We are vampires, after all.
Well,
But, yes, do try to de-escalate your situation. Try to make amends with your rival, and not by threatening that which they are close to.
yes.
Unless you absolutely mean it. And I do mean absolutely. If you cannot guarantee that any plan that you have in place to deal with that isn't going to backfire on you, don't do it. Or take the time to make it perfect, like I know Tremere to be. Perfection is a curse.
That one I'm aware of.
I'm sure all too much.
I do thank you for your time, Mr. Ball.
I
It's
appreciate
always enlightening to learn a little bit from you as we have these chats.
Well, don't be a stranger, because the more time you have doing that, the less time you're putting your foot in your mouth.
Yes. If you do happen to hear anything, please let me know. I will
Regarding what exactly?
the matter of my apparent hostile takeover.
I will take it with a grain of salt,
Yes.
but I will still keep an eye on you. Just so you know.
I would expect nothing less. You seem like a man that would cover all his bases.
As I
And
should.
then the other bases that aren't even in play.
I mean, the most important is home plate, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I don't know. I'm not very much into sports.
I love
I wish
baseball.
I were. That is.
Texas
only thing
Rangers,
I have.
all the way.
The only thing I always had a problem with baseball is they have too many games. that sometimes they don't seem to, they make them less meaningful, I think. But
It's America's favorite pastime. What are you talking about?
true. That's what they say. I have always been more of a fan of combat sports, though.
Combat sports.
Yes,
Like
it's
MMA and that sort of thing?
boxing. Yes.
Not to my liking. It's always too brutal. Always fires up the wrong sort of feelings. Doesn't do it for me.
I enjoy watching someone that is a master of their craft.
Beat the shit out of someone and get bloodied. It's a little barbaric, if I must say.
Yes.
But I suppose to certain individuals, barbarism is their shtick.
Maybe it's just me lamenting on things that I lack. But
to each their own, I suppose.
yes. I won't take any more of your time, though, sir. Thank you for seeing me on such short notice.
I am here merely to serve.
Have a wonderful evening.
And you as well. Try not to get killed.
That will I ever endeavor.
Because that would be a shame. Have a good night, Mr. Knight.
You too, Mr. Ball. And I will turn and walk out and shut the door and head on my way back to the house.
All right. And then there's Yvette, who's kind of patrolling around the different streets of the Coteries domain, and kind of looking into some other personal things as well. So, what else are you up to, Miss LaCroix?
At this moment, I would end up after having talked with Dale, wishing him a good evening. I have made it a point to continue to wander about our domain.
Dale is actually very excited to be planning the wedding, actually. He's probably a little bit more excited about that prospect than you are. The actual planning portion, anyway. He's enjoying it a lot.
It's a discussion I am looking forward to end up having proper. The tragedy of having our existence is secrecy. But I try and not let it dissuade me. At this exact moment, I am taking a picture of some graffiti. I am not what Pax would describe as overtly street smart. I'm aware of in America and in the UK, they do this thing with spray paint and markers upon buildings. It's not a foreign concept, but I do not fully understand the signs. It is a whole other language, and it is difficult to know if I am staring at something that is saying, here is somebody contesting the territory, or not. But starting to develop a small collection. I continue to look over them as I start to walk down the next alley, studying them, looking about, observing strangers as they end up walking past, trying to remember faces, trying to see who is coming about. I hope in a few weeks that this habit will start making me understand who is already here and who it is that maybe no, who needs to have an eye kept on them. It is like a large assignment. No different than when I am performing my duties for a client, walking alongside, knowing who is a guest of who, just to know who is an anomaly. It makes my job easier. But I do feel lost in this.
Lost to what degree?
I am trying to be patient. My nature tells me to wait and see what comes of it. Be prepared for every eventuality and continue to be sure that you are prepared, have a plan to be ready for what is to come. And yet I find myself lacking. I could go to Monsieur Ball or perhaps an old friend.
Perhaps even Jacques.
I almost forgot. That call. I still think of it from time to time. That was what I was to Jacques. Sometimes an alibi, sometimes a accomplice, most times a tool.
Often a puppet. Always strings attached.
I do not have his mind for these things. I am, how you say, I am trying to avoid frustration, and yet with Jacques in the back of my mind, along with Monsieur Knight, and he may be ready to do. The thought of him getting involved in my life sickens me. And then there is Mademoiselle Deja, who is so kind to end up offering her a place to stay. But what is it truly? It is a small thing that is on offer, but it does not assist me in this task I've been assigned to. Mademoiselle Pax is dealing with the boss, and it ends up meaning that I am trying to end up figuring out where is the loose ends, the little things that everybody forgot. Yet I do not have that same level of vision of Mademoiselle Pax or Boss Hernandez or Rock, even Monsieur Kane. I feel almost as though a pretender. And then I feel a rage within me at that very thought. And then I think back to the words of Jacques. No Ventru deserves or is wanted or could ever be truly an arc.
But Mr. Ball
So-
made it happen.
Did he? I wonder. Outside of Monsieur Kane, I have never seen him interact with another kindred. He is, as far as I know, an island. So I busy myself, even if it's taking these stupid photos and trying to observe the streets, trying to imagine what Mademoiselle Pax sees every single time. How it is that she knows what she knows. The here is kindred from Wisconsin. How did you know that? Oh, it is in this brushwork here. All I see is stupid circle done in black spray paint. Is that the thing? Is it because it was painted in black? If it was painted in gray, would it end up meaning something different? Je ne sais pas. But I need to focus to make sure. I am preparing for all eventualities. I remain on the calm exterior so that no one sees the storm brewing. That I am prepared for it. I continue to end up watching perhaps a couple that walk down the street. I take a picture of what appears to be something that looks like it was inspired by Japan. I take a photo of what looks to be somebody with a felt marker tagging a newspaper stand. And it's just everywhere. This is the masquerade. It is a double-edged sword. I have no doubt that there are many kindred who do not even know that whose territory they're in, nor do they particularly care. It is just a... Pardon. I am, how you say, working myself up again. It's a lot on the mind at this exact moment. I continue my observations. Walking down the street, down alleys. I turn down another alley. Each one feels darker and longer than the next. I sometimes wonder if the light at the end of the tunnel when someone passes is just us watching headlights going by in heaven. We imagine it's something majestic, and it turns out to be a city like any other. Trash in the streets, needles on the ground. Welcome to America.
You seem a little lost. You hear a voice quietly, kind of strolling up to you.
She closes her cell phone. Was it that obvious?
You're taking pictures of graffiti. Inspired?
I am no artist.
Ah, you're not from around here.
Was my Texas accent too thick?
Quite the opposite. Who are you?
I would think manners would end up dictating the person posing the question, ends up introducing themselves first.
It says the person whose marking you're actually taking a picture of.
fantastic. Your work. Tell me, what does that mean, mademoiselle?
I asked you the question first, honey.
My friends refer to me as Yvette.
Pleasure, Yvette. Tony.
Yeah. Tony. So we are friends now. We are très amis.
Maybe. You asked a question about about my work. Simple as it is. And you see that this one particular one that you just got a picture of, doesn't even look like letters. It's a string of strokes in silver paint on the side of a newspaper stand, like you said.
Well, I'm sorry. Tony, I do not end up understanding what it means. It is always a fascination, especially in America.
Well, it usually denotes a particular person's sort of stomping grounds. Did you wander a little too far from France?
It was hardly wondering. Now, ST, to be clear, I am still technically in our signed domain at this point, yes?
No. In fact, the borders are very blurry. On purpose.
Come on. Fascinating. Wow. So I would end up presuming that you must have some keen insight.
I might. What's it to you?
The way you were talking to me, one would end up being a little concerned if they did not know. Oui?
Run that by me again, because I didn't understand.
Territory? This means you are in a gang?
You can call it that.
So then I should be responding to this as though it is a threat, oui?
I didn't say anything threatening.
You said this is your territory?
I'm saying that because you're a tourist, you can walk away.
Fascinating. I'm sure it is nothing to raise Cain about.
Uh-huh. Whatever that's supposed to mean. What's insight?
There we go. Yeah, decent roll for once.
You take your meaning. She might be playing it off a little bit, though. As to be expected in public, I guess.
But I am definitely she is responding in a way that would truly make me believe she is kindred.
So far, she understands what you mean by raising Caden. Even though she's playing it off like she doesn't care or doesn't know what that means.
I hold my brief, or I hold the case at my side. Fascinemo, Tony. Tell me, as it appears we are neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
but if I were one of them, she kind of gestures to a random passerby.
Mm-hmm.
Would this conversation still be happening?
Maybe. Who's to say?
Who is to say?
There's some random Frenchie I met on the street.
True? And you are a random Tony I have met on the street.
How purely coincidence.
I am sure. But I would end up saying perhaps lost is a mistranslation. More accurate, I am assessing.
Assessing.
Oui,
Assessing what exactly?
tout le monde est dangereux. The whole world is dangerous. It's best to end up keeping eyes in the back of your head, but not lose sight on what is in front of you.
Truer words.
As you said, I am not from around here, but I am staying here. And because of that exact point, I make it an effort to go around territories and understand my neighbors. Try and understand where things may go awry. I am told Americans are incredibly uncivil, and yet you have been so. The least I can do is end up offering the same. Because otherwise, these things tend to escalate, and I
Don't
don't
want
believe
that.
anybody wants that. No.
No.
See, we are becoming fast friends, Tony.
So you want to know what that means? She kind of eyes the the drawing on the side of the newspaper stand.
Yvette unbuttons the top of her suit jacket, letting it fall away a bit to reveal the serpent along her collar. Seems fair trade.
Nice ink.
Merci. I think I would be saying the same for you. Looks back at the graffiti.
It's simple, really. Temptation.
Temptation.
Tempt you with pretty pictures.
You would not happen to be a churchgoer? You seem like a minister's daughter.
And so do you.
But it's in the guessing that the game begins, we?
I suppose so.
So you believe we perhaps have a relation?
Would we be neighbors otherwise?
Certainement. The dragon doesn't particularly care who is neighbor to who. It's simply what is convenient.
So long as you don't get him involved. He likes it that way. Self-governed kind of thing.
You know him long?
Long enough. As dragons go. They tend to breathe fire, and I'm not exactly a fan of that.
You can always shed a new skin.
Hmm.
Though in his particular tense, he may do that anyway.
You want to grab a coffee?
I enjoy the aroma.
Me too. We swing into yours then?
It is your home, and I am simply abiding by answering what questions I can as we get to know each other in a safe distance.
Yeah, I think we should get to know one another. Because if we're gonna be neighbors, I might as well know who it is I'm dealing with. Because you're new. It's not just every day that somebody plops right in the middle of something and then not a word is really uttered.
But that is part of the game.
Tiresome part of the game, but I suppose.
Please. The temptation is not. It does not come from the action, it comes from the anticipation. The hopes. Oui? Otherwise, you just get right to the business and then it's. Well. 3 shakes, a pop, and a cigarette.
Please. It's 5 shakes. There's a coffee stand down the road. We'll grab a coffee, we'll find some place nice to sit, and we can talk.
I observe the surrounding area. I'm looking. Perhaps this individual has a coterie with them. I try and end up making sure that I am at least aware of potential escape routes should this end up going.
Tits up, as it were. Wits awareness. You notice also that she has tattoos as well. Lots of flowers. It's very ornate, but subtle. They're not done in heavy black lines. They almost seem like they're painted on her. And so far as you can tell, there are no dangers present, really. She is alone. And she tends to keep you in her sights, and you're able to gauge that the surrounding area is not going to have any kind of restrictive nature. So the usual escape routes are going to be plenty. She goes in to the coffee shop, grabs 2 coffees. She comes back out and hands one to you.
Merci. I hold it. I try and experience the warmth of it, the smell. Still delightful, even though I know if I were to drink it, I would be, well, in less pleasant conditions.
And she leads you over to a sort of sitting area, kind of near this coffee shop that's secluded enough, kind of an outdoor sort of patio sitting, so that you could still be near the coffee shop and still kind of look like you're having a pleasant conversation, just outside where nobody really wants to sit right now. Because it's kind of dark. The one street lamp is kind of dim. The sort of it's kind of backed up against the fence that kind of guards it from the back parking lot where you suppose the the evening's crew park, with the dumpsters behind it too. And she sits across the table from you, kind of with the coffee in both her hands in front of her on the table. Kind of just looks at you a little bit.
I place my case almost as though it is between us, on my side, ready to open. And when I place it down, I allow it to drop, maybe just a little too quickly. Enough to signal it has a significant amount of weight to it. When, before sitting, placing my coffee above it. I look over Tony, and I'm just taking her measure for a moment as I simply enjoy the aroma. I don't say anything at first, I just wait patiently.
And she does the same for you, just kind of watching you for a moment. She does notice when you drop the case a little harder than usual. She doesn't seem to flinch, though. So, newbie, how long have you been in the area?
In this exact spot, perhaps only a few months. Things were getting settled in, and that takes time, especially given our own condition.
Understood.
Toi, Tony, did you end up... Is this entire territory your own, or do you share it with a gang?
A whole gang. I think that's putting it a little much. No, it's me and a couple friends, and then a couple of friends on top of that.
So the gang.
Well, like you said, I'm more of a minister's daughter.
I have seen ministers' daughters in there. One time, I swear her head opened up so wide she could swallow me whole. Like a serpent. She kind of gently suggests at her own tattoo.
That's been known to happen. to you.
I am glad
Not
you
you
are a woman.
yourself.
I am glad you are a woman of intelligence, Tony.
I can read between the lines.
Fantastic. It's more amusing for me that way.
But I do like to get straight to the point.
And here I thought the minister's daughter was more into foreplay. I apologize. I simply was trying to end up being cordial and remaining in what I thought would be your element.
Usually the song and dance is fun. I'm just... You're a curious one, and I need to know. Because I need to know if we're going to be friends or if we're going to be rivals. And I can usually tell on a first impression, so impress me.
You think we've already had our first impressions? You
Oh.
are... Yes, was that not what we had in the alley?
I'll call this second impressions then. Second date.
I didn't know we were moving on that fast.
Whirlwind relationships, honey.
Here today, in the trash can tomorrow. It's okay. So, what am I doing here? Exactly as I said. I am securing for myself and a few clients. I wish to end up making sure that all things are secure in that regard. And it helps when you end up knowing what's just over the fence and know who it is that it belongs to. And since no one would pay us the courtesy, at the very least, I thought I would be a good neighbor and do it myself.
Well,
But unfortunately, and while this may be revealing too much, the ways you do it here in America, especially in this state, confuse at times.
well, maybe I could bring some enlightenment to you. Because usually, people of our certain kind of people usually put along subtle little hints. And those subtle little hints are kind of passed along between friend, to enemy, to friend, to client, as a sort of way of making the lines known. Much like the river is a line, much like 6th Street is a line, much like that newspaper stand points to a line. Everyone has borders. Everyone has boundaries. So it must mean you're terribly new if you're not even familiar with what those lines look like.
Perhaps.
Which I can forgive. Everybody starts out somewhere.
We are in those terms now. Forgiveness. So, in consideration, Tony, I appreciate your candor. myself.
Mhm.
I wish to simply end up knowing who it is I am dealing with. Tony, the minister's daughter. That is the beginning of an introduction.
Oftentimes called a succubus. Because temptation. But really, it's just me and a friend of mine. A rather sociable friend of mine. You might, or you might not. I don't know your background at all. But her name is Veronica. It's just the two of us. When it comes to that sort of thing. Maybe you'll meet her one day.
Perhaps. My biggest concern is to end up understanding the security of my own little piece of turf. To understand who it is I am dealing with and to end up doing so. I have met you and end up ascertaining. That is a fantastic start. Now, my thought is friend or foe. I'd like to end up staying friends, Tony. And in that night, I would like to end up offering a simple point.
Hmm.
We just keep an eye out for things. If you should happen to run across someone or something that seems to be coming through, well,
Going
I
from.
would appreciate a heads up.
Hmm.
And if something were to untoward be coming through your neck of the wood, or from my neck of the woods to yours, simply to give you a heads up that something would happen.
I think that's agreeable.
We, for the most part, try and end up taking care of our own little nest egg. And no one ends up needing to end up having to end up escalating things.
No, of course not. That would be uncouth.
Yvette leans back and, for a brief moment, allows the Glock to reveal itself, the one in her shoulder holster. Fantastic.
Nice piece.
She kind of looks back to her case. I'm very much into heavy metal.
Hmm. We might have similar hobbies. Maybe not exact, but. But I do like to. I do like things to start off as friends. So, if I spot something coming your way, how should I get a hold of you?
He simply opens up. She ends up reaching into her pocket and opens up a small card holder. She has two sets of cards. She pulls from the left one, places it down, and slides it towards Tony.
Do you actually use a phone?
Multiple. The advantage of my position is it actually seems odder if I do not have one.
I've been running across that a lot lately. Not a fan of phones. But if I happen to cross a payphone, I'll give you a ring.
I think it's fantastic that your life does not have that complication. Otherwise, you end up scrolling down the tickety talks and.
Yeah. Had a little too close of a run-in with someone who shouldn't have run across me.
Now you got me curious.
Maybe I'll tell you the story one day.
I will gladly end up hearing it.
We need to become better friends first, I think.
Absolutely.
Because I would certainly love to know what it is that a Frenchie's doing in Austin, Texas.
Oh, isn't that obvious?
Nothing's ever obvious, dear.
You have taught me a little of Austin, so
Mm-hmm.
allow me to tell you of Perry.
Mm.
Perry, before everything went sideways, he was a Camarilla city. Toreador influence as far as the eye can see. Works of art, movie all
Oh.
about.
Mother, you're not muted.
Sorry, choking.
It's okay.
Worried about you, man.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I took a bite of pizza and it went down the wrong pipe.
Oh,
Sorry.
no. Oh, no.
We almost had a dead fat man on TV.
Oh, no. Let's not do that.
Dude, at least wait till we have 50 viewers so we can really cash it in.
Look, it's not my fault that we're not that popular, all right? I try.
Oh, no. Come on.
If they didn't have the Twitch and service, I could wear like a low cut shirt and maybe try to get a little more viewership.
But as you were saying, you bet.
All tension's gone in the scene now. All tension. Let's see here.
You were saying something.
In Perry,
Mm.
it is Camarilla, and more specifically, Toreador. They appreciate many works of art, such as one we share.
Mm.
It is a tradition, so to speak.
Mm.
But it is a very different environment there. For me to come to America, well, why did the Europeans come in the first place? To escape, to take a chance on their own, and make something in a new world. So I have come to the new world. No different.
Mm.
If anything, I think that story is uniquely American.
I would say so. Well, I wish you luck, Yvette. Because Austin is a weird city.
So I am told. However,
Mm.
I take one look over her tattoos real quick. Do these seem like a collection that she would carry, or do they, like mine, seem oddly out of place?
They don't seem particularly odd. They seem, if anything, they seem pretty standard for someone who's maybe got an art inclination to have, and she certainly seems like the kind of person um, who would be art inclined. And like I said, it doesn't have any hard like black outlines. It doesn't have any markings that seem particularly out of place. It doesn't even seem to have any kind of serpent motif, which is what you would expect.
Oh God! Now we're gonna have two fat guys choking to death.
Shut up.
Sorry.
But she does kind of have this sort of artist air about her, and the tattoos kind of reflect that, if anything. They kind of look watercolored. They're mostly flowers and and that sort of thing, and butterflies.
Do you think you'll ever miss getting the opportunity to have ink that will last with you? I would end up finding it probably somewhat frustrating, given on how much time you must have sat in the chair. I'm told in America it is oftentimes akin to an addiction.
Possibly.
Tattoos, I mean.
Possibly. I really did enjoy having the ink done, but I think greater still is the finished product. I consider these finished.
Aren't we all?
And so, no, I don't really miss it. I don't have any regrets when it comes to my ink.
I'm glad to hear that. And Yvette might let it slip that tone, that they are not in the same camp. At least on that matter.
Is yours not finished?
Mine never should. It is not a matter of the final product. It is a matter of when you are only the canvas. Nothing more.
Hmm.
But I will, perhaps in that moment, in that thought, I would ask, Ministry, followers of Set, I'm still climatizing to the rebranding. And Yvette gives that a moment to sink. She thinks Tony is sharp enough to pick up what Yvette just put down. That, especially after Tony said newbie comment.
Hmm.
That Yvette.
Rebranding. Yeah. That's one way to put it.
But you are the shepherds of the Anarch movement. The Ruha, its spirit, the ferocity of the Gangrel, and the spiritual guidance of Set himself. I'm curious, do you still follow in your father's near footsteps?
To a degree. Obviously.
Do you feel like you are truly a spiritual advisor of the Anarch movement?
Oh no.
I thought not.
Not even close. Nowhere near that level yet.
Implying you wish to be.
Maybe. It's tempting. But isn't that the point?
would think the point was the chase.
Always is.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Tony. She gets up. And thank you very much for the coffee.
Thank you very much for the conversation.
She reaches into her pocket and pulls out or unfolds one bill, folds it neatly, and extends it.
Keep it.
And
My treat.
I think you're going to want this one.
And she takes it.
And she lets you as $100 bill.
That's truly not necessary. It's a coffee.
It was a lifetime.
If you insist. She kind of deftly folds the bill back up and slips it into a pocket. Pleasure to meet you, Yvette. I look forward to meeting others.
Looking forward to meeting others. Is that what you wish to do?
Like you, I want to know who my neighbors are.
I am their primary contact. If you had to meet the others, I cannot promise on how that would be.
Shame.
Yours is that the sensual, the insightful, and I have no doubt you have a set of, I would not say so in polite company, but the individuals I look for, the ones that I operate with, things can get incredibly messy if they ended up getting involved with you immediately. Usually the situation where you meet them is the last time you will ever meet. My job is to ensure that does not happen.
Good to know. I suppose that's your way of saying steer clear.
No. It is my way of expressing gratitude. If I wish to end up having you steer clear, it would already have been done, and I would not have given you my card.
Fair enough.
Bonsoir et à bientôt, my dear Tony.
Have a good night.
She starts to turn and walk with her case.
Leaving
And is
Tony.
that-
Leaving Tony on her own. And you walking away from a little coffee shop.
Yvette tries to not think of the fact that the moment she suspected ministry, her instincts almost kicked in. Put 3 bullets in her face One for each eye and one for each eye. Remove the sword, sever the head. Make it quick, brutal, and efficient. Drag the body before anybody can get a clear understanding of what is going on. See, in France, ministry were not well liked. They tried something, I think it was back in the 20s or 30s, before World War II. At that point, they were the followers of Set. And it was my job to get them out. Old habits die hard.
But you were able to restrain yourself, as the head of this serpent hasn't made itself a threat to you. Not clearly, not directly. Kindred for sure. All kindred are a threat to some degree. But no more than the usual. Where are you headed?
Back to the Coterie Haven. I got photos, and if Pax ever arrives back, I wish to show them. At least I can point to one now and say I know that this one belongs to Tony. Supposedly a minister's wife, a minister's daughter.
Which you would find that your good friend, Mr. Knight, has also come back to the fold. And for the moment, it is you two.
Alistair, I would be pulling books on ghosts and supernatural things out of my collection for Deja peruse, and I don't have an exact thing that she wants me to cross-reference. I haven't gotten the details of it yet,
But you're pulling things that are relevant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as I look up and see Yvette come in, I will simply say, good, I wanted to talk to you anyways.
Yvette simply ends up, without saying a word, goes to the kitchen table, places down her case, opens it, and seems to be checking it, not just the weapons and what have you. That is to be expected, but she goes so far as to pull out the foam core and peel back what seems to be almost an interior lining. If you're observant, you would end up recognizing this as a weave with Kevlar, making it actually quite bulletproof. A personal shield that Yvette carries with her. Not just a simple case, but perhaps that's where the weight keeps coming from when she drops it.
I got some advice today. I think me and you need to bury the hatchet. Otherwise, things could get messy between us and cause problems for those above us.
I thought we already did, Monsieur Knight.
No.
Otherwise, I would not have slipped the note.
I still have to make amends for what I did. And in my way, there is only one way that I can think of. I was going to do it as a surprise, but was advised against it because it could be seen in other ways. And I'm going to sit the books down. I'm going to go over, walk into my desk, and pull out an envelope, a manila envelope full of papers. Here, fill these out. There's all the necessary paperwork for grants and scholarships for your family to get your son a good education. This is the only wedding gift I can think to give. I'd like to see your family prosper.
I need an out of character clarification. I don't think you've ever once mentioned anything about Chris to anyone. I'm just double checking this. If
I
anybody
don't
can correct me,
personally
please.
recall.
I think Yvette's been fairly guarded about the whole thing.
Yeah,
So
she's
I'm
barely
trying-
even mentioned that she's getting married, much less whether or not who she's marrying has a kid.
Oh, well, then I guess I can't do this then.
Oh no, it's okay. You can play it out.
Well, yes, and it. It's fine.
It is. I have said some things that I will not regret or apologize for. I understand. She places the down. Then she pulls out a clip and removes 2 bullets. You can see that there's something engraved on them. But they're turned away from you. And looks at them. I thought long and hard about it, Monsieur Knight. Long and hard. And at this exact moment, regardless on personal feelings towards one another, we are in a contract. And I fulfill my contracts. I have told Mademoiselle Pax that I will assist in all ways that I can. You are a part of Deja's offer and the operation that is happening at her farm. And I will not jeopardize that over personal matters. But that night I had to end up spending the rest of the night trying to imagine if I could muster the courage to go into that house one final time and shoot them.
I can understand. I trusted that you would be a professional.
Do
I
you
simply.
hear me, Monsieur Knight?
I don't know if you were talking. Who you were talking about, because it could be possible that.
Mon famille.
I could never imagine doing that to my family.
You should. Because one day, a mistake will happen. And it may come to that. It is the masquerade. It is the only tradition that even the anarchs abide by. And I would not let anyone bring them to harm. It would be quick, and they would hardly know. But it would not incur a masquerade breach, and I would just simply have to disappear for a few decades. And then I would hate you. Because I will not allow anything to be taken from me. I would sooner burn it all down. That is the conviction I have, Monsieur Knight. I need you to understand that, and the true depths of what that decision means.
I can understand your convictions.
You earlier said that you blamed yourself for what Monsieur Noel did because you were not there. The aftermath caused me to lose myself, and we had to remove a body. The second time, whatever it was you did, forced me into tearing through the ribcage of another human being, to gorge myself, to bring me back to sanity in the most insane means. Twice. Now, Monsieur Knight. What more could you possibly do to me?
There's always something worse. Don't ever ask that question because you might find out. You never want to.
I don't have a choice. Maybe that's where I was kidding myself. The hatchet is buried at your request, Monsieur Knight. I will end up fulfilling the contract to its specifications.
I'll simply set the vanilla folder down and go back to pulling books for Deja.
I trust the window is a good fit.
Yes, thank you for that. I apologize for seeming distracted. Deja has a problem and I'm trying to find a solution for her.
What sort of solution is that?
I don't know. Well, let me rephrase. Deja has not informed me of a problem, but informed me a need of information. I should be very specific because it could be taken the wrong way, and we both know I'm good at doing that.
I have made no such accusation.
No. You don't need to, but I need to get better at this.
When observing a problem that you do not know the nature of, study the nature of who it is that is seeking the answers for you. It is no different than when I do my duties. I end up finding myself quite frequently looking at individuals who I know were not on guest lists, or were not of note, or perhaps have been avoiding conversation until they came up to a client. These things showcase something wrong So now, if you are wishing to help, consider the nature of Deja. She is looking for a book on spirits, ghosts, werewolves. Well, qu'est-ce que c'est?
Mostly ghosts, I believe.
Then would one have to end up starting with that and then end up considering why would Deja need such a book since you've already done such a impressive piece earlier on this house? It was your research, was it not? Your actions?
No,
You asked the questions.
yes.
There you go. You reached out, you performed your duty. C'est ça. C'est tout.
True.
When Mademoiselle Deja wishes to end up discussing the matter further, say nothing. Just study it. At the very least, you may learn something from the Malkavian. And if not, well, who knows, she may just eat you.
And I think that is a very good place for us to call it an evening. But I quickly need to use facilities again. I'll be right back, everybody.
Derek's not all here tonight.
Dude, I have been up for over 48 hours at this point. Yeah,
This man's should sleep,
Damn.
chat. Hi, chat. We're back. But yes, Derek should sleep. Crash and sleep like a plane into his bed. You know. But yeah, we're gonna finish up some of the end of session stuff. So the nice thing about today is nobody had stains.
Oh, there's a for once.
That's a for once. Woo!
Hooray!
Who fulfilled any desires and or worked on ambition?
I did.
Ooh, nice.
I tried to get my desire done, but decided against it.
Well,
You can be taught.
to be fair, Mr. Ball was getting at the real crux of the issue that Alistair didn't want to admit to himself because he could see it all over Alistair's face. Because he told you, you're easy to read.
Uh-huh. I am. In and out of character.
Mm-hmm. And so he called you out on it without being abrasive. That is the wonder of Mr. Ball.
Yes.
We enjoy him. But everybody also gets experience today, so everybody get one for even showing up today.
Yay.
Yay! Black Wolf, if you're still here, could I get a poll, please? But then we decide between the players who had moved the plot the furthest, who had the best scene, and who had our best line for tonight. So, plot mover.
I'm gonna end up here going with Deja. Deja ended up here giving a lot of prompts to end up setting up the next here session. And I would end up saying probably ended up giving Alistair the most to work with. So
I can see it.
I'll take it if nobody's going to dissent.
I think that's a unanimous. I've also got the audience poll up, so be sure to use your channel points.
Yes. Do
Yes,
it.
Do it. Do it. Who had the best scene?
I don't know. I love that kind of Quentin Tarantino style dialogue between Yvette and Tony.
Ooh, yeah.
It's kind of hard. I like that, and I liked my scene with Mr. Ball, and I don't know which one I liked more.
Hey, both of which starred me. Hey, Lamau.
Yes. Imagine that.
Storyteller doesn't get points, though. I can put things magically on characters however I want, so bleh.
I'm going to go with Yvette.
So that's one for Yvette, one for, well, a 50-50. Alistair's not sure who he wants. What's your choice, Derek?
Like I said, I went with Yvette.
Okay, well, that's 2 Yvettes. And a half a Yvette. Alright.
2.5 out of 3 ain't bad.
2.5 out of 3, yep. Best
You
line.
can't blame me for half of a Yvette.
Best line.
That guy's gonna die on stream.
That was an out of character line, though.
Hey, we've done out of character lines before.
I suppose so, yeah.
It still came from a player, technically.
Man. This guy's choking on stream.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Like, I took a bite of a piece of crust, and there was a small piece, and like I took a breath, and that
then
piece flew off.
Flung
and...
into your lungs, yep.
Yeah.
That's a mood.
Yeah. So. Yeah, fat guy dying on stream. That's. I can't think of any other lines. Like, there wasn't any real zingers, but that at
It
least
doesn't
made
have to be a
everybody
zinger,
laugh.
or it could be poignant. It could be just.
Yeah, nothing else
stand
stood out
Mm.
to me, at least.
Anyone else?
Anything I had in my head when Derek said fat guy's dying on stream, went out, so I'm gonna go with that one.
I particularly like the Malkavian line at the end. But that's me.
Oh, I liked that line too, but they both came out of Derek.
That's true. That is very true. Well, I guess, Derek, you get that one anyway.
Yay!
Yay! Any expenditures?
Good question.
I spent the one already. I have that other one of the other expenditures we were discussing.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the 3 experience for it.
Okay.
You said I need 3 more?
Yep. It'd be a total of 9 to get 1 dot and everything you were looking for.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and take one of those others.
Woo!
I think I'm gonna go with
Oh, I wanted to
security.
make sure I took something and I forgot to check with you.
Mm.
I took a specialty under subterfuge for seduction for when I went hunting.
Okay. Like, specialties don't require a whole. Well, depends, but often enough, if you're specializing in a kind of speaking style, if you're in a kind of thing that you're picking up on insight, social stuff like that, doesn't require too much of a justification. It just requires, some intent to have used it that way.
Yeah.
So, where exactly did you seduce a person?
Well, been cruising bars, taking people home, and
Oh, as your feeding style?
yeah, and it was
Oh, so you're
like
kind of
kind
turning
of
into a siren.
almost.
Almost.
It's like I can't exactly. I'm for trying to. I'm trying to expand my herd, and I have to hunt a different way than my feeding style normally would because I'm looking for like significant others to
Different
pad
kinds of
out.
people. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not looking for student followers, you're looking for more people who are interested in you.
yeah, that can keep around, and it wouldn't be weird to show up to their house late at night.
This man's is looking for a polyamorous relationship
Yes, he is.
where he is the center and none of the others know about it. Rude.
So,
Okay.
Rude.
Yeah, in other circles, we call that cheating.
Yeah, it is. Fair.
if you're in that type of relationship, that's not cheating. It is a mutual
Not, not,
decision.
not if
Not
the
a
others
poly.
don't know about it.
If the others don't know about
The
it,
others don't know about it. Yes, I agree with that. But in most of those situations, both sides or all sides
Oh,
know about everyone
this is
involved.
this is one of the reasons why I was saying polyamorous in jest, because I was joking. It is actually Alistair cheating on his own boyfriend.
Yes, it is.
Well, I didn't establish it, but he's looking for a polyamorous relationship. But that if you don't want to,
And in the game, it's called a Tuesday. It's Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday. Get it right.
Okay, so I'm going to spend that experience on the armory as we discussed. I'll follow up with the next one.
Okay.
The
Sounds
experience.
good. And there's a floofy baby.
yes, he's a floof.
The foof. The foofiest foof. Well, I think it's about time that our streamers actually chill for a second. So, Derek, what you got?
Don't ask me to do this now, man. Please.
What you doing, though?
I have no idea. Okay, for ladies and gentlemen, just to end up letting you know, I am currently doing a drawing on the macabre. Potentially this Thursday. I got a few pieces I gotta end up finishing up. But the reason I can't chill properly is because I've been up for 48 hours, and right now I'm completely out of it. At this point, this is ST abuse.
My bad.
He's just
Hi.
trying to embarrass me at this point because I can't end up doing my normal take, and I'm falling flat on my face right here. Enjoy it. Watch the grown man cry.
Well, let's have.
Hi, I am that fat guy 3, and I will be shilling for the macabre Derek. He is a fantastic storyteller. He is a fantastic runs workshops for Vampire the Masquerade and the and BattleTech. Sundays you can catch him for his Chronicle. Mondays he runs them back to back. And then Tuesday through Thursday, before even Wednesday before Austin by Starlight, which we are in now, he does Drawing on the Macabre, where he takes commissions and will draw anything that you want. And even if it's too spicy for Twitch, you know, you just got to talk to him. He'll pour himself out for pretty much anything. So
Damn. Where's the lie?
$20 is $20.
Yeah,
Yep.
where's the lie? So, Patty,
yes,
what
he
you got
is,
coming up?
Me, I think next week I'm going to try to start playing through the Arkham series
Ooh,
on my stream.
nice.
I've been mostly playing Dead by Daylight, but
Of course, with the Chaos
that's
Crew. That's the huge.
yep.
That's the huge.
That's the default of like, well, what do we want to do? Like, okay, well, let's just play Dead by Daylight because that's our killing time game. So,
It's always.
but yeah, we don't
fine to
have
have shtick.
anything. Yeah, we don't have anything special planned yet because we just did our killer race.
Oh,
We
by
won't
the
have
way,
that for another couple of weeks.
Yvette, you got the waifu points because Volvo spent points on it.
I got Volvo waifu points.
Volvo's waifu points. Yep, you got Volvo's waifu points. So, you get the audience favorite XP, so Volvo points.
Yay!
There's that. Guys always
But
lurking
yeah,
in
hopefully
chat.
I did
Love
a
it.
good enough shilling.
Love to see it.
Dude, I'm too tired to end up knowing if it was good or not. So don't worry about it.
That's fair enough. We're sending this man to bed.
Yes, go to bed, Derek.
So, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope that you will come back next Wednesday for more of this lovely coterie. And hope you'll come back tomorrow as well for some more Rebirth, a D&D tale, in which I torture some D&D players. So, do return. If I hit that follow and subscribe button if you haven't already here on Twitch, because much love. Thanks to Inares and Derek, who rated earlier, and then, there was a couple of follows that I saw on here, but all of that will be at the end credits. Thank you guys so much for following and doing all of that as well, because your support, even the free stuff like follows and stuff, all of that helps this channel grow. All of that is meaningful. All of that means that we can continue to do this twice a week, every week. So, with that being said, we're going to say goodnight. Derek is going to go crash into bed. And we are all going to be back next week. Until then, say goodnight, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm just dying a little inside.
You don't have feelings. Shut up. Go to bed.
This poor man's. Good night, everybody.